Okay.
This was the
Uh,
first time I saw the recording button.
yeah.
Okay.
The first question. What did you try to tell your communication part? I think we tried to tell how express how hard it is to communicate, and I tried to say that I think one of you guys brought up if any of our students u- use devices like this, and I think we tried to say yes, several. Um, what
I
did
think just between the Marshmallow and the AAC, I don't know which was easier to understand because half the time we couldn't get the right sentences out with the devices, but with the Marshmallows, we could at least finagle what they were trying to say and try
Right.
to answer those questions more than the device.
I mean the device it did take a lot longer and stuff, and it definitely I would feel like it would take a lot more time. Like I feel like if I uh had a better understanding on how to use it and like all and knew all the ins and outs, then I think it would be easy. But there's like it does take a lot longer than say just like simply just talking.
Like we had that project with it, and doing this now, we still not good at it. How are kids supposed to
And
know
it
how to use it?
and the app on the phone has changed because I haven't been on it in like a week, and I got on today or a couple of days, and I got on today, and it was a little bit different.
Right.
I don't know if
And
it was
that's what
updated.
I like I said, I anticipate opening it to look exactly like it because that's what we had learned, and it was already another new challenge.
Yeah. And one other thing I think with the marshmallows in your mouth, what Kevin, you were saying, we were able to talk, or Colin, you were saying it, but we can use our facial expressions, I think, with the
Mhm.
marshmallows, where it's, I don't know, with
Just
the
takes
app.
you away. Yeah, it takes you away
Yeah.
from the conversation looking down.
Yeah.
So even
Okay, I
you were trying, I was trying to use like my facial expression to see what you guys were doing, but you were all down.
Exactly.
Yeah. Dude, somebody says something, by the time it's done, you look up, you have no idea who's saying it or what. Like
And there's a little bit of delay. I'm
Mhm.
having a little bit of delay, so
I
I
feel
know.
like my volume trying to share that through the video wasn't working great, so that's probably like you guys don't know exactly what we're asking and how we're answering either.
I feel
yeah,
like
I get well that actually I think leads into the several other questions. Was it easy to formulate your message? I think we can all agree probably not.
Well, you guys found that little trick, and I wasn't able to figure that out just because you weren't able to say it in words and
right.
everything.
But
Yeah.
even when I found the trick, I feel like I asked a question, then I waited so long for you guys to answer that someone else was already on to something else, or
yep,
it
yep.
wasn't a
No
conversation.
flow in the conversation.
Mhm.
And then trying to answer the questions, just finding the right buttons to hit, having to go into everything. There weren't any like sentences already possibly there that I could feel like I could have used to
Right.
answer questions. I had to try to find all the separate words to use, which took forever.
Yeah, I feel and this probably goes down to the question on how does it feel to be on the receiving end of an AAC communication. I feel in a setting where there's more than one, I definitely think having distinctive voices for each of them is imperative because eventually, like if you can't tell the difference, like it just all becomes.
Yeah, I wasn't able to find different voices besides the accents. So I know some people, on my computer, I have a guy speaking, but on my phone, I have a woman speaking. I couldn't figure out how to change it. But I agree with you, Colin. I think we all had a couple of us had the same speaker, and we didn't know who was saying what. But if we could all have different ones, that would help out a lot.
Yeah. Uh, and what strategies do you use to improve your intelligibility and speed up the delivery of the message? I think we discussed how we had the shortcuts with the using of the phrases.
Yep.
We
But the issue with that one would be if students do have to use the AAC, are they going to be able to type out those phrases on the spot?
Right. They got to
uh,
be automatically loaded in there for certain situations, right?
And
yeah,
then
I think the adult would probably have to do that to type in the phrases. Why? or like whoever's programming it probably program like some like common use phrases.
Hmm.
I what are some other shortcuts? We sped down. For me, I slowed down the speed of the voice so it was more understandable.
I tried to use some phrases I had saved from trying it out, but just whatever I had didn't work with the questions. So that didn't save a whole lot of time, but I tried to use shortcuts like that.
Right.
Yeah.
The shortcut with, I mean, the keyboard itself. I mean, that's in and of itself a shortcut for me.
Yeah. If we didn't have that, I think that conversation would have been a disaster.
Right.
Yeah. What did do we find? I think we just answered the question of did the strategies work? I think the answer would probably be to some extent. Right.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. Yep.
And what did you learn from this activity? And
Stuffing your face with marshmallows is not fun one bit.
okay, that's one lesson.
I think the facial expressions, like when we had the marshmallows in our mouth, we were able to use our facial expressions to a certain extent. But with the app, with the cough drop, I don't know. I struggle with it.
For me, what I learned from doing this, it kind of gave me an understanding on how hard and how frustrating it could be for some of these kids and people who have to use this device and use these methods to communicate, and how this hindrance to communication can, like, it really does give me an insight on why, like, you would see, for example, in like a child with autism, how they might get aggressive or like frustrated. It's because their inability to express like what they want to say.
Yep.
You know.
And a lot of those students have issues already. When they get frustrated, they start having meltdowns pretty quick if something's not working right for them. And to use this and not be able to find words within 2 or 3 seconds that they want, or have an idea of where it is, they're going to break down more often than not. And that could, if it's the first thing in the morning, that could throw their whole day off. And that just creates issues for anybody else who's worked with them, or just the rest of the day, whatever they're doing. They're just not focused on it because they're so upset from what happened first thing in the morning too.
Agreed. Mary, your thoughts?
And I don't know if you guys felt this way too. Like, I had something I wanted to share, and then like the whole amount of effort it would have taken to just relay the message kind of deterred me from even wanting to share it. So, and then there was like 2 different types of frustration where it was like no one was able to understand me, even though I was verbalizing things with the marshmallows in my mouth. And then it took me 20 minutes just to relay half a sentence with the AAC or the cough drop app. It kind of did from wanting to even share my thoughts. So you can imagine sometimes students feel that way.
Yeah, I think at least in mine, the main takeaway is it really gives me a more empathetic understanding of people who have to use this devices, or
Use it, or on the receiving end, right? I mean.
Yeah, and just like in this situation in general, because like you were discussing with the marshmallows, how like you couldn't say you were trying to convey something, but no one can understand you. That could probably relate to like people who are just like nonverbal and stuff, and just like are trying to say.
My school district just started with full day kindergarten, and it kind of reminded me of like kids that have the verbal ability, but they don't have the skills yet. So I see a lot of staff members a lot of times trying to finish their sentence to help them. And I'm just like, imagine if you are cognitively able, but you can't get the sentence out and someone keeps trying to finish your sentence for you. Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So it's just like a big lesson in patience and just.
And I feel like if